here at the Sandstone Daycare to meet Shiny Thorell. How are you today, Shiny?
Very good, Debbie. How are you?
I am thrilled that it's warm enough to be
Yes.
outside. Isn't that terrific?
It's a beautiful day.
Ironically, I've lived in the neighborhood 35 years and I have never been in this backyard before, but I have no problem finding this location. Could you give us a little idea so people would know where you are?
Yeah, so we are right at the intersection of Berkshire Boulevard and Sandstone Drive. Right across us is the bus loop where there is a park and ride, and I think adjacent to it is the Ascension Catholic
Yes,
Church.
that's right.
So,
That's right.
yeah, people usually refer to us as the old blue building.
Okay.
So that's where we are. We've been here since 1984. So, long
Good.
time.
Yes, a very long time.
I have 3 kids,
Yeah.
2 boys and a girl in the middle.
Okay.
My oldest has some special needs. He has autism.
Okay.
When we moved into Canada back in 2001, I was looking for a childcare for him so that I could go out and work.
Okay.
And it was a challenge.
Yes.
Back in the days, inclusion was not
Yes.
as prevalent as it is now, nor was it as promoted as it is now.
Yeah.
So at that
Okay.
time, I kind of felt the need to do something, but
Yes.
then I went on with my career in healthcare. I was an administrator for AHS for 12 years.
Oh.
And then when
Okay.
this business proposal came, I thought that social commitment that I felt the need for, that could be fulfilled through this. So we actually have a very huge focus on children with special needs in our program.
Okay. Well, that is endearing to my heart because in grade 12, I used to volunteer at a group home all the time, every Saturday, because I like special needs kids. And then when I went to university, I taught swimming lessons to autistic children because that was really fun to me.
How sweet.
So for me, I feel like when something wells up in someone because of a need, they actually have more of a passion for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is really nice to know about this daycare, that you have that kind of hands-on experience, therefore a real heartfelt desire.
And when, including me, all the ladies here, we are all trained in early childhood education. We all have our provincial license,
Yeah.
but not a lot of training in children with special needs because that's not part of our training, right?
Yeah.
But so for that we partner with some specialized agencies like Providence and
I was going to ask you about
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
because I help sponsor Providence's golf tournament every year. So they help with you with training, or what do they do?
both. So training, frontline help,
Okay.
and they even have so I don't know if you noticed, a child got picked up by a
Yes, I
van.
did. Yeah.
So goes to Providence. So she goes part of her day to Providence to get specialized services, and we also partner with Renfrew, but Providence is one
Okay.
of the major ones that we
Okay.
directly partner with.
Okay.
Renfrew usually works more with families, and then we assist them in the daycare setting. But what happens is they have a preschool program where there's more of one-on-one help for children.
Yes, yes.
So parents will drop the kids off around 7:30,
Yes.
whatever it is, and then we send them off to Providence because the bus picks them up from here,
Okay.
drops them off back here, and then they continue the rest of the day with us.
Oh, I had a tour of the main Providence one, so I saw the facilities that they have there. That is brilliant to have that kind of partnership, because then you can really offer more
Yes.
in your location.
Correct. And what they're trying to do is, and even in a provincial level, what they're trying to do is capacity building, right? Because the needs are so much that not every child can have a whole day specialized programming.
No.
But instead, and which is not in most of the cases needed either. Instead, what they'll do is they'll have a portion of the day with specialized programming, and then they get integrated to the regular population of children in a daycare setting, which helps them move forward when they get into the school system.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
need both. Absolutely.
They do. And so much so, more so for the typical children. I always say having special needs children in your environment is more beneficial to the typical children than it is for the special needs
I
children.
couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I find our empathy skills, our compassion skills, all of those things are raised to a whole new level that really our culture is lacking in more and more. So yeah, I hear you and I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and I can relate to it all the more because I come from a place where the school system is totally segregated between so-called typical children and special needs children.
Okay.
They have no interaction between the two, or very limited, that they really don't understand each other much at all. They don't, as a society, we have not given the opportunity for them to understand each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
When my oldest son was in kindergarten, he started at 4 because his birthday was later in the fall. And I said to the kindergarten teacher, "How's he doing? He's too young to be here." And she said, "You're right. He's not doing well in school, but I have a cerebral palsy boy in a wheelchair." And she said, "I couldn't live without your son. He looks after him every day, all day." Well, my son has skills that are not markable in a grades, but his compassion and understanding of people is extremely good. And I think it's from kindergarten, looking after, I think the little boy's name was Justin. Yes. No.
Yeah, exactly. I always say, often parents have anxiety about having a child with special needs in their son's child or class, right? What if he starts imitating this kid? What if he starts? But they always get that realization that that's not the case very, very quickly.
Yeah, they figure it out. They're smart.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit, Shiny, about how the program's structured.
So we have 5 rooms in this building. We call it the home rooms.
Okay.
We have an infant room, a toddler room, a preschool room, all 3 of them in the main level. And we have a school age, so grade 1 to 6, and another kindergarten room.
Oh.
So it's age-wise breakdown. And so school age, on school days, they go from here by about between 8 and 9, depending on their school bell times. And they come back after their school time. So it's just a few hours in the morning and afternoon that they're here. And of course, during school holidays, they're here the whole day. We are licensed to take care of children as young as 3 months.
Wow.
So they're not our most popular age group, but we do get often parents, mostly who are students, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We had some lawyers, physicians who had to go back to work and didn't have the luxury of taking 18 months of mat leave. So those guys come to us. So we are licensed to care for them from 3 months. We go up till age 12. So we have a before and after school program as well.
Okay.
And our 2 daycare vans take them to school. So we offer the transportation as well to 2 neighborhood schools.
That's good to know. Okay, great. And neighborhood schools, just in Sandstone.
We do Simons Valley and Hidden Valley.
And Hidden Valley.
Yeah.
Oh,
both
okay.
elementary schools.
Oh, both very close and very, very good.
We used to do about 5 schools before, but the school age program and the kindergarten program, the demand is so high that we had to narrow it down to just 2 schools now.
Okay.
People often talk about space crunch for babies, but in my experience, that's not the case. It's always for the older children that we have trouble.
Do you have openings now, or is there kind of a sweet spot when to try to register for the fall?
Right.
For the
We don't maintain a wait list per se. What we usually do is when parents inquire, we always have a projection 6 months out.
Okay.
So then we know each room, because each room is broken down based on children's ages, right?
Okay.
So we know what the current enrollment is and when those children are going to grow out of that room, so when the spots are coming up.
Okay.
So we give tours to parents only when there is spots available. And usually we have spots available if they're inquiring about 6 months ahead of time.
Okay.
Now the story is slightly different for school age. That is usually capped because the turnover is much lesser in school age, because once they get into that room in grade 1, Oftentimes they don't move out of it until grade
Right.
5, sometimes
Right.
grade 6. So
Right.
we
That makes
have
sense.
sometimes parents waiting for a spot for years. In summer, we have a full summer program with at least 3 days of off-site field trip. Our
Oh.
summer program is well sought after because we have a very,
Yes.
yeah. But last year with COVID, we couldn't do anything.
No,
But
yeah.
usually our summer program has at least a 3 days off-site field trip. And when we are talking about off-site, we're talking about Banff and Canmore and like,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
And this is the school age kids.
Yes, grade 1 to 6 and kindergartners go. They
Nice.
also go along, yeah.
Very nice.
Whereas upstairs, they go to the neighborhood parks for walks and play, but we don't let them take the vans or the transit,
They
just
just
for
walk.
safety reasons, yeah.
So, just because I've run children's programs before, what kind of, like if you're going to Banff for the day, if they're school age kids, how many adults per kid do you have to have?
So if they were sitting in the classroom or if they were playing here,
Yeah.
as per licensing regulation, we need to have only one staff for 15 children.
Okay.
But when they're going in the van,
Yeah.
the van is a 15-seater,
Yeah.
including the driver and the passenger. But so 13 children allowed
Okay.
with 2 staff. So the ratio
okay.
just doubles.
Yeah.
But there is so much value to those field trips that we are willing to put in that extra staffing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. And we start around 6:30. Every day our opening hours
Okay.
are from 6:30 to 6 p.m. Breakfast is served around 8:30. School age children eat a little early because they have to leave early. And then they have their free play and outdoor play. Outdoor play is a big part of our program. We have, as you can see, a big playground.
Yep.
Or if the weather is nice, so today morning, both preschool, toddler room and kindergartners went to the Sandstone Park.
Oh.
And they
It
like
was
to
a
explore.
gorgeous morning this
It
morning.
was beautiful, yes. So they go out, they come back and get ready for lunch. Lunch is around 11:30-ish. The program philosophy we have here is called the emergent curriculum. What that means is that we observe children's interests. So we have individual portfolios for children where we document children's observed interests. So what we teach, the content that we want to introduce to children is predetermined. But how we are going to introduce that content or that concept to children is based on what we have observed the children's interests are.
Shiny, you have taken on a major task.
So to put it into simple, let's say for example, little Grayson loves his trucks. So when we are talking about shapes to Grayson, we are going to use that truck, and the wheels become the circle and the windows become the square or the rectangle. So the retention and the attention span in children is way better if it is introduced through a mode that interests the child.
Yes.
So that's basically.
Well, that's true, but that's still a whole lot more work for
So-
those who.
Yes, so that's why planning curriculum is a big part in early childhood education.
Yes.
I always feel that the profession itself, not from a business perspective, but as an early childhood educator, because I went back to school after when I got this and got my training. I always feel that here, even in Canada, there is the profession itself is not valued enough.
I agree.
Early years so crucial, so important in any individual's life, and majority of the child's wake hours are spent with these adults and not with their parents, right? In a week, in a year, around a year. So the values that these children absorb from adults in this program or any early childhood educator is very significant. And if the parents and the society do not give that value to this profession, then as a society, I think we fail children. Over the years, there has been a lot more attention. We are not called babysitters or nannies or whatever people used to call. In this program, when we took over, I decided that every caregiver will be addressed with Miss in the beginning, because we felt not so much for the smaller children. They, of course, they got a hang of it, but for the school age children, I felt that they should feel the same importance and respect that they have for their school teachers, for the caregivers here as well, because they educate. It may not be a curriculum academic with academic focus, but we do have a curriculum too. We actually have curriculum philosophy that we follow, and all teachers really strive. It may not look like they're learning as in a traditional learning setting, but they learn a lot of life skills here.
Always learning,
Yes.
always learning.
Yes.
And sometimes, well, no, most times, modeling is the way that we learn much better than anything academic.
That's right. Hands-on is definitely the thing.